Seattle University has recently developed 7 principles for leadership and professional formation. You will be asked to dive into each principle, reflect honestly on your experiences, and grow in each of these areas during your time at the university. When you leave Seattle University, you should be able to articulate how the wisdom and skills you have developed within each of these principles influences the way that you will lead in your workplace, community, and the world. So let's dive into what each principle includes. We'll start by framing them under 3 questions. The first question is, who am I? We believe that leadership is grounded in personal values, spirituality, and integrity. Therefore, you'll be asked to discern your personal values and your worldview. Interrogate the source, whether it's your family or your culture or our larger society. Where do those values come from? And do the values that you come into Seattle U with still align and make sense to you by the time you leave Seattle University? Our hope is that you are continuously reflecting on these things so that you're growing in your integrity, meaning that you're growing in the ways in which your values actually match the actions that you are doing each day. We also believe that leadership is shaped by personal identity and social location. So, therefore, you will be asked to explore your identities, examine your social location, and make connections between your values, community, culture, and your assets as a leader. When you ask yourself, who am I? You can find pieces of the answer as you explore your personal values, your spirituality, integrity, personal identity, and social location. What does the world need me to be? So this is our second big question that you'll be facing while a student here. So we believe, and you can see this in the university's mission, that leadership must be toward a common good. There are many examples in this world of leadership that is not towards the common good. Leadership that is individualistic and hierarchical. It doesn't serve the community. And that's not what we're about. So while you're with us, we hope that you cultivate an orientation towards others. There's this Jesuit phrase of being people for other people. So that's the purpose and intended outcome of your leadership and professional formation. Leadership is committed to collective and relational practices. Again, we are debunking, dismantling this idea of central, hierarchical, top-down leadership. Oftentimes, it doesn't serve the community as a whole. So we're trying to cultivate leaders that express empathy and care for others, that are committed to collaboration, creating inclusive processes so that every person who's a part of the organization sees themselves as a leader, sees their power and agency because you have it. While at Seattle University, we hope that you are gaining your skills to leave being more collaborative, collectivist, and inclusive leaders. The third and final big question is, how am I becoming? So if you think about it as using the who am I as our starting point, and that what does the world need me to be as sort of our vision and goals, that how am I becoming is the way power. How are you getting there? What are the skills, the knowledge, the experiences that you need in order to be prepared to take the world, this community, from where it is to where it's going? So the first is that leadership requires career-ready and transferable skills. So these include both things like critical thinking and inquiry, but also the practical skills that are expected for your field of study. So that when you are out in the world and leading, or in your organization here leading, that you have the competency to be able to be a reliable source of information. You can give accurate information and competent support to others. We believe that leadership also has to be practiced in context. There are certain things like decision-making or taking initiative or developing autonomy and independence, dependability, reliability, time management skills that only comes when you are able to practice it. So as a university, we're committed that you're not just learning these things in the classroom, that you have an opportunity to really develop and hone your skill. Leadership is an imagination for what is possible. Our mission as a university is to form leaders for a more just and humane world. The world is not just and humane as it is, so therefore you have to be able to envision something beyond what's in front of you and develop and cultivate the skills to create change to get us closer to there in order to really be the leader that you can and should be for the world. So that's something that we're committed to having you grapple with while you're with us at the university. So that's a summary of our 7 principles, some guiding questions that will get you started in thinking about them throughout this experience with us, throughout your future experiences. I want you to use these questions and these principles as a point for reflection, for intentional growth, identifying, I don't really know a whole lot about collective and relational practices. So using that as a motivator to seek out that additional learning to help you be a more well-rounded leader.